Were you afraid? Maybe you're afraid of watching me right now. Oh, after all, watching an apostate material is really scary. See, Jehovah's Witnesses live in enormous amount of fear. They won't tell you about it, but they feel it every single time. It's weird because when you watch how they behave, even the simple thing as an answer at their meeting creates anxiety in people. And I felt it too. One of the biggest fear that I ever experienced as a child, I remember, was giving my first talk. Trust me, I barely made it through it. I couldn't even understand why, but I was terrified. It was weird. I remember the people who were watching me thought I'm going to faint. It is funny because I experienced other events where I saw people with huge audience, thousands of people, and they were authentic and they were expressing themselves and they were being interviewed and they didn't prepare and didn't know the questions, and it was very live, authentic interview, and yet people were not afraid. They were sharing like even most intimate parts of their life, and there was no problem. And yet among Jehovah's Witnesses there's enormous amount of fear. And you might think, why is that? See, the fear actually kicks in and much harder if you try to leave. Well, why would somebody be that afraid to even read a book? I remember myself, I was terrified of reading Crisis of Conscience. I locked the door, I closed the windows, right? Make sure my wife's not home. And my hand is shaking like this. I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to buy this book. I'm just going to download it in PDF file in case the demon comes into my house. I can always delete it. But see, fear is important. It's very important because fear keeps us alive. That's the purpose of fear, to stop the death. The problem is irrational fear stops us from living. Rational fear stops us from dying. And it's difficult to determine which one is which when you're indoctrinated into believing that if you sin, then you will die. And every religion has a different interpretation of what is sin, what is sinful, what you're allowed, what you're not allowed to do. And if you break that commandment or whatever it is that they set as a rule, then you're going to pay the highest price. Some people are afraid of, they're scared of hell. They're thinking, oh, I'm going to be tortured forever in the fire? Who wants that? I mean, just imagine what kids are thinking about. Oh man, my dad or my mom is going to go into hell because they have sinned, because they've done something wrong. It's horrible to scare people like that. But at the same time, Armageddon is not much better. I remember myself when I was a young kid and my dad was a Catholic. I was praying like, Jehovah, please don't kill him at Armageddon. And I had night terrors that my dad is being burned while we were running away. And I'm like, I don't know if I should turn around, because if I turn around, God might punish me like the Lot's wife and I'm going to turn in the pillar of salt. But I really want to see if he's dying or not. And I'm like, I would wake up. I still remember those. I was very small when I had them. But the fear is there and instilled in people's minds at a very young age. Why? Because it controls people. If you are afraid of doing research, if you're afraid of reading other people's opinions, even though you don't agree with it, but you're scared. See, the thing is, Jehovah's Witnesses, they live in a tribal mindset. What do I mean by that? See, for thousands of years, we live in tribes. And the tribal mindset was very simple. You stay in the tribe, you're safe, safer. If you separate yourself from the tribe, or if you get kicked out from the tribe, chances are you're going to die. If you're not going to get eaten by a bear or a lion, then some other tribe will find you and kill you, right? Because you are a traitor. So that fear is literally in us, in our DNA now. And we're scared of leaving the tribe or scared of being kicked out by the tribe. That's what they were doing. They were banishing people from a tribe, and Jehovah's Witnesses doing the disfellowshipping from a tribe. It is very deep fear that comes from generations, thousands of generations that humans experienced. And it's irrational fear right now, because truthfully, if we get kicked out of a tribe, we are not going to die. But Jehovah's Witnesses, they created this mindset that, oh, if you stay with us, you're safe. You're going to make it through the Armageddon if you are Jehovah's Witness in the good standing. They actually put it in print. So anybody who's not even in good standing in Jehovah's Witnesses, their chances of surviving Armageddon are extremely low or none. And of course, if you're an apostate, then Jehovah will just blow you like a match. And they created this bubble to the point where people are even scared of saying hi. Like a little child, the parent says, oh, this is your friend and you can go and play with him, but that guy, no, you can't even say hi to him. And then the child doesn't even know why, he's not allowed to ask, but the parent knows better. And this is how we were thinking when we heard those words, brother so and so is no longer a Jehovah's Witness. We were even afraid to ask why. Did he disassociate himself? Was he disfellowshipped? If yes, why? Whatever. We couldn't ask him. We couldn't ask the elders. Everything was taboo. It was an enormous amount of fear that protected the congregation from thinking, to the point where I remember myself. I walked into the Kingdom Hall and it was this fellowship guy, and he says hi to me. And there's an elder right behind me. I'm a ministerial servant trying to become an elder. So you got to be at your best behavior. And this guy comes up to me right before the meeting and says, hi, how are you doing? And I'm like, man, you're talking to me. Why? Oh my gosh. Okay, hi, good, yeah. And I ran to the washroom because I was scared. I didn't know what to do. Like an idiot. But then I left the whole meeting. I felt like, I have committed a sin. The elders are going to talk to me. This is going to hinder my chances of being an elder and so on. Like all those thoughts were going through my head the entire meeting. After the meeting, I see everybody's talking to him. And I'm like, what's going on? And they said, oh, yeah, last week when you were not here, he was reinstated. I'm like, oh, the sin is gone. It's crazy when I think about it right now, but that's how it was. But very important is to study other religions. It's extremely important because you start learning about fears of other people. Why is that Muslims are scared of drinking alcohol? We were not scared of drinking alcohol. It was no problem for us. But for them, it's a sin. So they're terrified at the idea, even though they no longer believe the doctrines. They left the religion, but they're like, oh, I don't know. It's a sin. Why is Mormon scared of drinking coffee? Because for them, the caffeine is a sin. It's like a drug. For Jehovah's Witness, smoking a cigarette is a sin, right? He's not going to do it. He's too scared. There's a lot of fear in simply irrational. You can't say it any other way, because they link this of obey A, B, C, D, E, and so on, or you die because you're sinful, and if you're sinful, you deserve to die because the wage that sin pays is death. And this is how they stop people from thinking, right? But when you want to get out of it, one of the first things you got to say is like, okay, what is it that I believe now? Do I believe all this stuff? Is it really rational to have those fears? And there's an enormous amount of fear of loss, because of course, if you're losing your faith, you're going to lose all those who are in the religion. You're losing your tribe. You're losing the sense of belonging. You're losing your friends, family, maybe your hope, your faith, your future, your loved ones. There's a lot of loss. And unless you accept it, you will always be afraid. You will always be afraid unless you accept the loss. See, the moment we accept that there was a loss and we're okay with it, we know we're gonna make it. You don't know how yet. You're gonna replace all your friends, right, with better ones, hopefully. You know that people who loved you, they back off. You're gonna find new ones who will love you too. You had a purpose in life. You don't have one right now. You're a little confused, but you feel that, you know what, sooner or later I'm gonna find one. You feel like you had a sense of belonging, right? That there was your tribe and you felt safe over there. And now you don't know where they're going to find it. But you don't want to be there anymore. It's like when you're in a relationship, let's say marriage, and you found out that the person betrayed you, lied to you, and he's still denying, but you have enough evidence to know that they cheated on you, lied to you, deceived you. You don't want to be there anymore. And whether they, you had some good times with them, you had some bad times, but you reach the point that you're done. And there is a loss that you have to accept. Maybe you're going to lose some money, maybe you're going to lose some friends, maybe your connection with children will be severed. All those losses we have to accept when we no longer want to be in a relationship with somebody. And this is the same thing when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses. There is a level of loss that you have to cut and say, I have to accept it. I have to accept it. But that loss is actually making a room in your life. That's what it is. You're making a room in your life for other things that are better. There will be, you will feel like there's a vacuum in your life when things will disappear and you don't know what to replace it with. I felt it too. Most of us felt too. We don't know what to replace it with. But believe me, when you have cancer and you removed it from your body, you don't think about what am I going to replace that with. You just don't want it in your life and it's gone. But there are certain activities that we were doing that made us feel good about ourselves because we felt like we were on a mission. And we have to create new activities because now we have more time that will give us some sort of purpose in life, some sort of meaning that what we're doing here matters. But it's a different video altogether. I want to focus on fear. See, the moment we accept the loss, that it's not a loss, it's just you're making room, you're cleaning up your house, you're getting out of junk from your life so you can welcome something better, then it's no longer a loss. Many people who were, let's say, Catholics or from other denominations, and they joined to be witnesses, that's what they told themselves too, didn't they? They said, you treat those former friends and beliefs and whatever you had as refuse. Like it's just gone. You don't want this part in your life. You're putting new personality. You're moving forward. You're upgrading. See, nobody is complaining about getting a new cell phone with better features. Nobody's complaining if you get a better car. Nobody's complaining if you get a better house because it's an upgrade in your life. But it's impossible to upgrade your life without getting rid of the old system. And when you had an old programming in your life, you have to get rid of it. And there will be some loss, but you're making room for an upgrade. But the transition might be hard. And you might be afraid because you think, oh, if I lose A, B, C, and D, then I'm not going to find myself in life. No, you're making a room for better friends, for better family. Maybe not blood family, but maybe a chosen family, right? You're going to choose who you're going to call a brother and sister. And you're not going to call a brother and sister a person who belongs to the same religion. That's not your brother. That's somebody in your congregation. That's somebody who goes to the same church, has a similar faith. That's not your family. But when you feel a certain connection with people, when and you feel like, you know what, we're connected, like spiritual connected, and there's nothing that will separate us because I love you unconditionally, that is like the closest people to you can call your chosen family, because you won't betray them and you know they will never betray you. They'll never cut you off because they accept you for who you are. That's a 100 times better family than the spiritual family that JWs gave you. But you got to make a room in your life for that. If your life is so crowded with JWs in their activities, there is no room for the better kind of connections. So you will have to accept some losses. Remember also, nothing's permanent. Nothing's permanent. If you have a loss of some friends and family, chances are you're going to move forward and you're going to create your own family and you're going to create your own friends. And it's not going to be a permanent loss, because whatever it is that you're going to miss from this friend and this family member, you're going to find the same thing in this friend and that chosen family member. It's going to be a much better if you replace it with something better. The fear is going to be there. Of course it's going to be there. But the best way to overcome fear is not to run away from it, not hide from it, but do what you fear and fear will disappear. Do what you fear and fear will disappear. You might think, you know what? When we were Jehovah's Witnesses, we were afraid of the apostates. That's right. You were going to the convention, and maybe you saw them in the corner of your eye. They were standing there with the big signs, right? And maybe you were feeling comfortable with going to the assembly and safe and protected, while you felt extremely uncomfortable even seeing the apostates. But now maybe the roles reversed. Maybe you feel comfortable with ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, but you feel uncomfortable with Jehovah's Witnesses. And if you see Jehovah's Witnesses, now maybe you're feeling nervous. And if they would invite you to the Kingdom Hall, oh, no, 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 that is like ultimate pain, right? It switched. Why? There's no need to fear Jehovah's Witnesses. There's no need to fear ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. Nobody's trying to kill you, right? We're just humans, and maybe we see things differently, but there is no reason to be mean to one another. Absolutely not. But I know that overcoming fear, it's not as simple as, oh, you know what, I should be fine with it. Well, acceptance is extremely important, but I tell you, although I accepted a lot of fear, I accepted a lot of losses in my life, and I'm like, okay, these people shun me. I thought they're not gonna shun me, but they shun me, so I accepted a loss, and I'm like, I'm gonna move forward. But still, I had nightmares. I still had anxiety attacks. I still had panic attacks, and I was not able to overcome them because I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't really want to go for pills because I thought I can get over it myself if I really put effort to it. So I studied anxiety, I studied panic attacks. Like whatever problem you have, you should become a student of it and get as many perspective on the subject as you possibly can. And today, all the information is pretty much free. There's a click of a button, somebody already has the answer that you're looking for. Whatever challenge you have, type it in. Believe me, there's many people who have overcome it. So here's a couple of things that really helped me to overcome my anxiety and my panic attacks that I can share it with you. Number one is when you are experiencing panic attacks or anxiety attacks, don't try to calm it down. I know. This is against everything that you probably heard, because most people say, well, you got to find the calming music and maybe meditation, and maybe you just ground yourself, and maybe you just go for a walk in the nature and all that stuff, and look at all the beautiful things you have in your life and practice gratitude, and it will all go away. BS. BS. It's not going to go away. It will make it worse. Like, Jack, what the hell are you talking about? Yes, it will make it worse. Imagine this. Okay, hear me out. I'm not saying those things don't work at all. I'm saying they will not work unless you resolve the issue. Okay, watch this. I come home and my wife is upset with me. She's yelling for whatever reason, right? And I will tell her, honey, calm down. You're over exaggerating. I couldn't even believe that's true. But she will never come down. She will be 10 times more upset with me. Why? Because I didn't appreciate what she's going through. I didn't acknowledge her emotions. I didn't try to help her. I was trying to minimize it. I was trying to calm it down. I was trying to make not a big deal out of it. And she now is more upset, and she's trying to prove to me that this is very important and I should take it seriously. Guess what your subconscious mind's going to do if you try to calm it down when there is a real problem? It's going to give you more adrenaline and more cortisol, and it's going to create more panic attacks and more anxiety attacks, because you're not taking it seriously. You did not resolve the issue. It's like you're sitting by the fire and you're hearing a bear coming, and you're just going to sit down like, let's just meditate and breathe deeply and calm ourselves down. There is no freaking way you're going to calm down, because there's a danger, and you realize there's a danger, and your subconscious mind will not allow you to calm yourself down. You got to resolve the issue first. And this is why it's so important. When you are discussing with your own subconscious mind that this fear, whatever it's happening, is irrational, you can't say it, calm down, everything's going to be fine. You have to acknowledge the message. It's like, okay, brain, I got it. Thank you very much. I'm going to do something about it. We had bigger problems. We can handle this one, right? And you move into action. Here's a couple of things you can do immediately that will help you. Number one, if you feel a panic attack or anxiety attack, right? You count from 5 to 1. You go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you move. You have to move your body. Okay, it's extremely important. Remember, motion creates emotion. If you want to get better emotions, you have to be in motion. And you move your body because it sends a signal to your subconscious mind that you are doing something about it. You're physically running away from your problem or you're facing your problem. Whatever it is, your subconscious mind doesn't know. All what it knows, it's you're moving and you're doing something about it. Okay. The best thing ever, go to the washroom, wash your face with cold water. Okay, as quickly as you possibly can when you feel the emotions coming in, because once they take over, it's very difficult to undo it later. You got to stop it as quickly as you possibly can. Drink cold water, right? It's really helping. And then you breathe, and when you breathe down with your diaphragm down, and you hold the breath for at least 4 seconds. So 4 seconds you breathe in, 4 seconds you breathe out. Sorry, 4 seconds you breathe in, 4 seconds you hold, 4 seconds you breathe out, right? You can tap your fingers, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And believe me, your body will start responding. It's the quickest way and extremely important to break the pattern right away. If you don't break the pattern right away, reversing it, very, very challenging. Very challenging. The longer you sit on your couch or in your bed and you hug your pillow and you start focusing on what's bad in your life, and you start feeling and you try to calm yourself down, and you're thinking that you're a victim here, the worse it's gonna get. There's no way around it, for sure. 100%. It's like your brain will start creating pathways towards the fear that you have. And the more often you feel it, the more neurons will connect, and you're going to create a highway towards anxiety, highway towards panic attacks and nervousness, instead of creating a pathway towards gratitude, towards happiness, towards certainty. You're going to create pathway towards uncertainty, anxiety, and panic. It's not a pretty place. I've been there, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to break the old pattern, and physiology is first step. Second step, you got to change your language. No question about it. If you're speaking very softly and you're just talking about how bad things are and how you are a victim of everything that is happening, and who to blame, I guarantee you'll never get out of it. You'll never get out of it. You got to change the way you speak, and you got to speak loud. Yes, you got to speak loud, because when you speak loud, you speak with certainty, and you say, yes, that's what I'm going to do. And when you speak like this, when you change your language and the way you talk, and especially the way you talk to yourself in your head, then your subconscious mind will respond, because you'll know, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. He means business. He's going to do something about it. With this tone of voice and with this physiology, he's going to manage this. But if you drop your shoulders and talk like that, then there's no way. There's no way. Of course, with this state of mind and body and language, there is no way. There's no way. Physiology and language, and breaking the pattern as quickly as you possibly can. And then the third one, meaning. How we put the meaning into the situation will determine how we feel. See, majority of the mistakes that I have made in my life, and believe me, there were plenty, they serve me right now as a warning. They protect me, because I would have made those mistakes right now. If I didn't make them when I was young, I would have made them right now. But I'm super happy that I've made all these mistakes before, because now they serve me as a protection. I remember when I started investing and I was scared out of my mind. I had very little money. I'm like, this very little money I worked so hard for. I'm gonna invest and I don't know what's gonna happen. And I lost it all. That's right. I lost it because I didn't know what I was doing. And guess what? That fact that I lost it saved me from much bigger losses right now. But back then, I couldn't care less. I was young. I didn't have a family. I didn't have people that depended on me. I could take that hit and start from zero. I wouldn't be able to do it right now. But if I didn't have the bad experience before, I would probably get in a lot of trouble right now. So the bad experiences are the best lessons. And believe me, now that you are exiting from Watchtower, exiting from a high control group, your that experience will save you as a protection like nothing else. There are people joining Jehovah's Witnesses at any age, and for the rest of their life, they will serve them with this belief that the end is just around the corner, and they got to give them their money and their house and contribute and just do everything they're asking me because they didn't have the experience that you do. Now you get to live the rest of your life as the best of your life, the most authentic you possibly can and want. And the experience that you had before will protect you from joining another high control religion, another cult, another narcissistic relationship, because you know the pattern. You can recognize the things that these people do, the love bombing, right? The control of information, the bad talking about everybody else. I'm the best. Everybody else is wrong. The safety is with us. You're rather with us, you're against us, right? If you leave, then we're going to shun you, right? Like, you know this already. And believe me, the recognizing of that pattern will protect you for the rest of your life. That's why we have a memory, because memory is for the purpose of protecting us from future harm. Otherwise, we would make the same mistakes all over again. So don't look at it as a waste. I wasted my life. No, you didn't. You had a very valuable lesson that will serve you for the rest of your life, and you can protect other people from it as well. I know I broke the pattern of third generation myself, and I'm not going to pass it on to my kids. And I'm very proud of it, because at the beginning, I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to disturb the family. My wife didn't wake up at first. For the sake of the kids, I'm just going to keep it the way it is. But then I realized, no, I'm not helping them. I'm not serving them. I'm actually damaging their lives and all the lives after. I got to take the hit. I got to stop this. And that fear of seeing my children suffer because of this pushed me towards, no, I got to stop. There's a lot of things you're trying to make sense out of the whole religion. There's no making sense out of nonsense. Stop it. You're just going to harm yourself trying. It doesn't make sense. Stop it. And then what? And then move forward. Create the best version of yourself. Move forward. Use the previous experience as a protection for future events. So when you come across challenges and people and relationships, you can protect yourself and protect others, and you will overcome the fear. You know what? Fear, if you want to overcome the fear, do what you fear and fear will disappear. You'll see most of the stuff that Jehovah's Witnesses showed us as something to be afraid of. Truthfully, it's a completely irrational fear. We're not going to die because we had a birthday. We're not going to die because you're going to have a Christmas tree. You might die if you start smoking. It might give you a cancer. But majority of the fears that they gave us, completely irrational. Completely irrational. It's now your choice. What do you want to do? And believe me, if you face the fear, don't run away from it. You face it. It will run away from you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.